My name is Ache, and I just want to start by saying thank you so much for tuning in. It really means a lot to me. I hope you enjoy this episode, and who knows, maybe you can relate. Can you guys believe that summer is almost over already? I really hope you enjoyed your summer for the most part. I just came back from New York actually with one of my best friends, and I think it was the perfect late August, end of summer trip. Honestly, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Thank you, New York. You know what? I think I'm going to make an episode about it because I have some things to say. I have some things to say. But yeah, part one did pretty well. So I'm hoping that part two also does really well. And if you haven't listened to part one of the 5 things I learned while being 25, go ahead and do that and then come back. And don't forget to follow, like, and share wherever you can. All the info is in the caption below. Anyway, without further ado, here are 5 more things I learned since I turned 25. Number 1, baby steps are still steps. I have always been a go big or go home and it's gotta be done now type of person. And I realized that that doesn't work for me. It literally has never worked for me. I found myself always falling short and failing at the things that I start because of this type of mentality. People always tell you go big or go home, but there's a lot of smaller steps behind the scenes that need to be done so that you are prepared to go big. But they never tell you that. For example, the gym. When I first started working out, I knew nothing about anything. I would just dive headfirst into a random and intense gym routine. And then on top of that, I would start dieting like crazy because in my head, this is what I needed to do to be skinny. And I was able to maintain that for about 1 or 2 weeks, but then I'd crash, obviously. And I used to blame it on myself, saying that I wasn't disciplined or that I was just too weak. And that would lead me to just simply give up completely. And I would continue this cycle for a while until I finally started working out with someone who was also at the gym and had a very healthy routine and diet set up for himself. Shout out to Brendan. Through him, I learned how to break up my workouts. I learned the proper techniques of certain exercises, and I learned about different supplements like protein and creatine. And it actually made working out fun because I was finally taking my time. I was learning, I was growing, and most importantly, I was healthy, and it was great. That toxic cycle that I was in before was stopping me from seeing my fullest potential. I wanted to run instead of walk because I thought that was the right thing to do. But it's difficult to run if you don't warm up, if you don't have the right shoes, if you have no experience, all the things. And it wasn't until I took the time to do research, to get advice, to learn from someone who has experience that I was finally able to move forward and progress the way I wanted to. And honestly, the beginning of taking things slow is difficult, and it can get very frustrating because you want things to happen now. You want to see results now. But baby steps are still steps, and you will still reach the destination you want to be at. For me, as long as I'm further ahead from where I was yesterday or even last week, I'm good because it proves that you're moving forward. It proves that I'm moving forward. I'm not the best person to talk about patience with because it's something I'm still working on for myself. But I truly do believe that patience is what will get you so far in this life because with patience comes wisdom. You're taking the time to observe what is happening. You're taking the time to figure out how to change things about a situation. You're taking the time to learn and to understand whatever you need to. So it really is the key and the answer to a lot of problems. Being able to see that baby steps are still steps also has to do with needing to learn how to stop comparing yourself to others. I feel like a lot of the times when we feel like we're not doing enough, it's because we're seeing other people do more, quote unquote. Comparison is the thief of joy. You are not them and they are not you. You don't know what they had to do to get to where they are today. I can guarantee that there were a lot of small steps that had to be taken for this person to be where they are today. We just don't see it. So take your time, take those baby steps, never give up, and I promise you, you will move forward. Even if it's not where you want to be, but that's a story for another time. But you will move forward. Number 2, distractions are necessary in moderation. I actually plan to make an entire episode about distractions because I think it's really important. So I'm not going to talk too much about it right now, but I want to talk about why this is something I learned now and not before. When it came to distractions in the past, it was something I did naturally, not on purpose. And it would take me a long time to know that I'm actually distracting myself from some bigger issue. But now it's a lot faster for me to check myself and to be like, oh yeah, I'm definitely deflecting, or simply just, yeah, I don't want to feel things right now, so I'm just going to distract myself. Everything in moderation, right? If you find yourself in a season of needing to constantly distract yourself from the world around you, it might be time to slowly wean yourself off before your distraction becomes an issue. Obviously, easier said than done, but don't be afraid to ask for help, whether it's family, friends, or a therapist. One thing I learned is that your harmless distractions can turn into obsessions really quick. But finding a balance can be really hard, unfortunately. So one thing you can do in the meantime, if you're not ready to ask for help, is to bring yourself to the awareness that you are distracting yourself from a bigger issue. Because once you notice that you're doing it on purpose, it might be a little bit easier for you to just take a step back sometimes and be like, I might have a problem, just slightly. And it'll also be a lot easier for you to monitor how much of this distraction is taking up your time and potentially your life. I definitely plan on talking a lot more about this, so keep an eye out for that episode. Number 3, change up and clean up your spaces. You already know how I feel about cleaning up your space. And if you don't, go ahead and take a listen to episode 10 if you haven't already. Anyway, a few weeks ago, I was going through a rough time mentally. Nothing in my life was going wrong per se, but I was just feeling super down and bummy, and I just felt like I was taking a lot of L's. I wasn't making my bed in the mornings, which is a big indicator that I'm about to go down a very dark path mentally. And I also wasn't putting any of my clean laundry away. So yeah, it was just a mess, honestly, until something came over me and I was like, you know what? Let me just clean my room. I started cleaning, but it wasn't enough. I was like, nah, I need change. So I got my mom to help me move my bed from one end to another, and we moved my dresser as well, and we even made room for a desk, which I honestly didn't think it was possible to fit a desk in my room, but hey, it worked out. I honestly can't even remember what my room looked like before the change. And mind you, I haven't changed my room since I moved to this house, which was almost 4 years ago now. But yeah, the heavy, down, dark feeling that was weighing over me had finally been lifted. And I felt free after the change, honestly. And cleaning is one thing, but change is even better. Reset your space. And this doesn't only need to be your room. It could also mean reflecting on who you hang around and making adjustments. That may be dropping certain people as friends, or it can mean creating a distance between certain people because you need a break from their energy. Either way, change is good and necessary. Also, if you haven't already, clean your car, okay? That is more of a mental reminder for me, but if you can relate, Number 4, my turn will come. I'm still having a very hard time coming to terms with this one, but it's one of those things I need to come to terms with as I get older. And it might just be me being delulu, but I refuse to believe that my dreams are the only ones that can't come true. I feel like this year so far, God has had me in a season of stagnation. And it's very hard staying stagnant when everyone around you is moving forward or moving up. I've had friends get promotions this year. I've had friends get big girl jobs this year. I've had friends buy homes this year. I've had friends fall in love this year. I've had friends start new chapters of their lives this year. And I feel like for me, I have been stuck in the same chapter for a really long time. And everything has pretty much stayed the same. And I've tried to change that by going out more this summer, thinking that I'd meet new people and that new opportunities and new doors would open up for me, but no. Every time I would try to step out of my regular day-to-day life, I would just be coming back to the same life. Nothing would change. It's like I go out thinking that something could happen, going out with a open mind, and who knows, maybe I can meet a CEO who wants to hire me or whatever. Anything could happen, right? But when I go out, I have a good time and I'm grateful for that. But then when I get back, it's like I pressed play on my stagnant life. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's a very weird feeling. Let me paint you a picture of what I daydream about on the regular. Let's say I'm going to work. It's an opening shift, so I'm pretty much working by myself till 2 o'clock. I'm chilling, I'm kind of in a bummy mood, but I'm pushing through. And then a customer comes in. I've never seen them before, but we get to talking. They're super nice, and in that conversation, they tell me that they have a business, and they're looking to hire someone new, who is a student, who has flexible availability, and who's looking to join a fun, upbeat environment with a team of people ages 21 to 45. And then they mention that the starting rate is $21 an hour with benefits. When I hear this, I get excited and I tell them I'm the perfect match for this position. And then they get excited. They give me their card. They tell me to meet them at their office tomorrow at 1 p.m. for an interview. I go home. And because I always work, I have to call in sick for tomorrow so that I can make it to this interview. I pray about it. I get to the interview the next day. The interview is flawless. We're having a time. Energy in the office is amazing. And then they pull out a contract and they say, Ache, welcome to the team. You start in 2 weeks. I start crying because I've wanted to leave my current job for 2 years now. I give in my 2 weeks and my new chapter finally begins now. I know that sounds delusional, but why can't that happen to me? Crazier things have happened in this world, right? I don't know, man. But ever since I've started growing closer to Jesus, I've learned that one needs to have faith. And I do. I actually have faith that this can and will happen in Jesus' name. I just really don't like how long this chapter has been for me. I've never been at a job longer than 2.5 years by choice. So now that I'm about to make 5 years in December at my current job, I'm literally losing my patience just a little bit. I feel like a zombie when I go into work. And don't get me wrong, okay? I am extremely grateful for this job. I didn't even interview for this job. It was basically handed to me during the pandemic. This is what I mean by crazier things have happened. I had zero product knowledge when I started, and it was above minimum wage, and the hours were great, and I really liked my coworkers at the time. But I feel like by year 3, I had already outgrown that environment, and I was ready to go. Like, I am ready to go right now. I'm tired of being in this space, but I am grateful. It pays my bills, and it is a very, very easy job. The only thing giving me hope is Isaiah 60:22 that says, when the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. I know this to be true. I just don't like waiting. I don't like feeling like I'm the bum of the friend group because I haven't moved. I don't like feeling stuck in a place I really feel like I've outgrown. It's uncomfortable and it makes my days feel pointless, or maybe that's not the right word, but it just feels like meh. I don't know. I feel like I'm wasting my time. Even though this is a job and I'm making money, it just drains my spirit. It drains my soul, literally. Like, you ever talk to someone who's just so negative and you just feel like, damn, you have drained me. That is what my job feels like. And honestly, my job is not even the only thing. It's just an example, but I also hate being single. I do. I really hate it. I just have to slide that in there. But this is just one of the many things I daydream about on the regular. Like every day, literally. But anyway, last but not least, number 5. Decentering men has made my life 1,000 times better. This summer has been extremely calm. Want to know why? It's because I didn't make a man the center of it. Back in the day when I would go out, I would pick my outfits according to what a guy might like. I'd spend the entire time at the event waiting to be noticed by someone. I would dance more if a cute guy was around. I'd try to be in their vicinity so that they would notice me. And if I didn't get noticed, I'd go home upset. And mind you, I wasn't going to these events alone. I was supposed to be having a fun time with my girls for real. But I spent so much time focusing on lame dudes at fetes and just different events. And for what, right? For what? But now, since my last situationship, and I know I reference him a lot in my episodes, but when I tell you he has changed my views on so many things, and I need to give him his flowers for that. I give him the credit for it. Thank you for making me so miserable that I had to relearn so much about myself, because it has benefited me in so many more ways than you can imagine. But yeah, anyway, since my last situationship ended, I have had no urge or want or need to attract another man. I still want men to be attracted to me, of course, but if they're attracted to me, it's not because I'm begging for them to look at me anymore. I'm just doing my thing, okay? I wear what I want because I like it on me. I do what I want because I want to do it for me. I go out because I love to dance with my girls and spend time with my girls. Let me tell you, not focusing on men at the functions has made going out 10 times more fun, because I'm not worried about how I look to them. I'm not worried about how many numbers I can get at the end of the night. I don't feel bad or insecure if no one comes to talk to me anymore. My main focus and goal is to have fun, because 1, feting is not cheap. And 2, again, I love going out with my friends and spending time with them. It takes an effort to be a good friend. So why spend that time focusing on people who can potentially ruin your life? And it just made my summer so much better, because not only when it comes to going out, but also the aftermath of meeting guys. The aftermath of giving a guy attention that you're not really even interested in just creates more problems. When you know that you can do so much better, but you entertain it because why not? It's for the plot. Yeah, it could be fun, but if they start playing games with you, it can become so annoying, because it's just science. A lot of us want what we can't have. So when you give a little and then they give you nothing in return, you're just like, wait a second. Wait, I didn't even really want you I didn't even really want you like that, but now you want to play games? I don't get it. So eliminating that confusion that comes with talking to guys you don't even really want to talk to, it's just a cute face. What's the point here, guys? What's the point? Let's take them away from the equation and just have a good time. Because on top of all that, centering men doesn't even go with a lot of our fairy tales. I mean, I know for me it doesn't. I want to be pursued. I want to be seen and admired without having to try. Obviously, I want to just be existing, minding my business, and have love find me, just like that. And then when I think love comes around, but then they want to play games, when you take away that centering of that person, it is so easy to just be like, okay, ignored. Okay, on to the next. My love is still out there. And this is when faith plays a really big part. And you have to continuously remind yourself. I mean, this works a little bit more for me. And maybe it can work for you. But when I continuously tell myself, like, he's not my type anyway, it helps. When I continuously tell myself, I don't even really like them for real, it makes things a little bit easier to let go. When I tell myself, my husband would never, so much easier to let go. The only sucky part is that I hate wasting time, but it's a part of the experience, and also telling myself that helps. Anyway, I'm rambling, but that's what I've learned so far while I've been 25. And if God continues to bless me with more birthdays, I'll keep you updated on what I'm learning through my 20s. If you're in your early 20s or you've recently turned 25, I hope that you can get something from this. And if you have some of your own advice or wisdom, please feel free to share. Let's learn together. Share this in the group chat or listen to it alone. And who knows, maybe you can relate. Thank you for making it to the end of this episode. Before you go, I want to leave you with a question and a word that you can meditate on for the rest of the week. This week's question is, what's the best piece of advice you've been given? And the word of the week is from Philippians chapter 1, verses 3-4. Every time I think of you, I give thanks to my God. Whenever I pray, I make my requests for all of you with joy. I hope you have an amazing week ahead. Continue to do your best in everything you do because your best is perfect. Follow, like, share, and comment. This is Maybe You Can Relate.